So, Cerakoting something like this. Two-tone with really small little lines. I had never done anything like this before, and we had a customer request, and I was like, you know, I'll figure it out to turn out. And I am pleasantly surprised that it did turn out fairly well. And in this video, I recorded the entire process of how I did this. So you will see how to get these nice little starbursts on this Wilson Combat frame to be the same color as the body of the frame. And then whatever color you want on the grip, on the back or on the front, you can do that, because that's the color I applied second. So thank you for watching, and if you want to know how this gets done to a regular Wilson Combat frame for the SIGs, stay tuned. So naturally, the first step of the process is preparing the parts. So we've degreased, we've sandblasted, and we're hanging up in the blast cabinet, ready to go. So naturally, you have to mix the paint. We have a pneumatic paint shaker from Harbor Freight. Does a great job. Highly recommend it. Mixing the paint with the catalyst is a really important part of the process as well. You always want to mix Cerakote by weight. So we use the scale that we got from Cerakote, and we always go to their website, to their current catalyst calculator. Once you pour the paint, that's when you enter in the weight into the catalyst calculator on the app. And that'll tell you exactly how much catalyst you need to add for the amount of Cerakote that you've poured. Once you have the catalyst in with the paint, you need to mix that for 1 to 2 minutes. The best method is put a plastic glove over the top of your beaker and just shake it consistently for 1 to 2 minutes. I usually err closer to the side of 2 minutes. After shaking it up nice and good, the next step is to pour it into your spray gun through the appropriate strainer. I'm using a metallic, so 100 is the strainer. After getting everything all mixed up, the next step is getting back over to our paint booth and laying down the base coat. So one thing I always make sure to do is wear a respirator. Safety first. When you're spraying all day long, it can be annoying. So once that base coat's down, after getting that base coat down, it's important to let the part sit in an ambient space for 15 minutes or so to ensure that all of the solvents naturally evaporate from the paint. Once that's done, then it's time to go in the oven for tacking out so that you can put your next color on. Since I did a metallic on this one, I go 20 minutes to tack those out because they do just take a little longer. Once the parts are ready to come out of the oven, you have to hang them up and let them cool down to room temperature before handling. The Cerakote is still kind of curing a little bit, so you don't want to handle anything prematurely. Once the part that you need to add a second color to is safe to handle, that's when the work really begins. Up to this point, everything's been pretty easy. So we're going to take that part over to the workbench, and then it's time to start masking off the areas that you want to leave bronze. Now, this frame with those little sunbursts, really annoying, and it's just a matter of being patient. So take your time applying the tape. I use these great little craft rubber tipped clay sculpting tools when I want to get tape into nooks and crannies, because I'm not scarring up my surface. So those are a great thing to use. Other than that, it's just time going through and getting everything masked off and taped off. So I'm going to speed through that process here on the video, and then we'll see what the final product looks like. Okay, so as you can see, it took me a while to get that thing taped off. And then it went back to the paint booth, got hit with a little black. We've already seen that whole process, so I'm not going to put that in here. And once the black was on there, it went in the oven for another 10 minutes. And I only did 10 minutes because I wanted to make sure I could touch up the black. So after the 10 minutes, I went ahead and took it back to the bench, and the fun really began again, getting the tape off of the gun. So I was really careful not to touch any of the black parts because that was only tacked out for 10 minutes. So that's still susceptible to being modified. And what I did here was, after getting the tape removed, I grabbed some acetone and some Q-tips. And I was able to go around and clean up the edges where maybe my tape lines weren't exactly perfect. And that's why I only did 10 minutes. And then once everything was touched up and I was happy with how it looked, it went back in the oven for final cure, and the final product came out looking great. It was a little daunting taking it on the first time, doing that kind of two-tone with such fine lines, but I'm confident that I can do it repeatedly without a hitch. All in all, I'm really happy with how the final product turned out. If there's any particular type of project you'd like information on how to do, let me know, and the next time I do one of those projects, I'll record it and I'll do a video. If you like the content, please like the video and subscribe to the channel so you get notified when I put out more great Cerakote videos. Thank you for watching.